The third game of the State of Origin series will decide who wins the trophy, and the Queensland team list has just been announced. Starting with the number 1, playing as fullback, Queensland have picked Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. The Hammer debuted for Queensland in 2021 and is no stranger to the arena, but now moves himself into the fullback position due to the injured Kalen Ponga. While I think the Hammer is a better fullback, Queensland needed room for both players in the side for the previous games of the series. Queensland had to pick between the Hammer and Reece Walsh for the fullback role, and while Billy goes for the Hammer, Reece still makes an appearance in the team list later on in the video. For the first winger in the number 2 spot, Queensland picked Xavier Coates. Coates debuted for the Queensland side in 2020 and has made 10 appearances for the state over the years. He's an exceptional winger with crazy aerial abilities and can outlate basically anyone in the competition. He moved to the Storm in 2022 and has really grown into a prominent force on the field. Xavier is also a very solid runner of the ball when taking the kick returns. Now for the centres, in the number 3, Queensland pick a debutant, and that's Gemmet Shibasaki. Shibasaki has had a crazy career, starting with the Broncos in 2018, moving to the Knights in 2020, then playing Japanese rugby in 2022, then the Cowboys in 23, then the Bunnies in 24, and now returning to the Broncos this season on a train and trial contract, and finally finding his home out in the centre position. And now, the 27-year-old finds his way into the Queensland side to make his debut. Quite an extraordinary story. As for the other centre, in the number 4, we have Robert Toya. Robert made his debut for the Roosters this year, and after only playing 10 NRL games, he was called up to make his debut in the Origin Arena before Game 1 of the series. The strong rookie would go up against Latrell Mitchell and held his own very well. Robert has managed to maintain his spot in the side for all 3 games of the series. A very impressive debut season in the NRL. Next, for the other winger, in the number 5, Queensland picked Valentine Holmes. Holmes made his debut for Queensland back in 2017 and has now played 21 games for the state. Holmes played the previous game in the Origin series in the centre position, but due to a reshuffle in the backs, he has moved out onto the wing. He's a versatile strike weapon with his speed, and has the ability to play multiple positions, including centre, wing, and fullback if needed. The Queensland veteran is in top form at the moment and can prove dangerous to the New South Wales defence. So that concludes the backs. Now moving to the halves, starting with the number 6 as the 5'8" and the Queensland captain. We have Cameron Munster. Munster is another Queensland veteran, debuting for the side in 2017 and having played 20 games with the state. The playmaker got his chance to captain the side in Game 2 of this series and performed as expected for someone with this level of passion for the state. Despite him not captaining the Melbourne Storm, I think he's the right man to lead the Queensland side. Now for the number 7, playing as halfback, Queensland pick Tom Dearden. Tom made his debut for Queensland in 2022 in the second game of the series. He took over the primary halfback role from Daly Cherry Evans. A controversial call at the time, but turned out to be a great decision as they went on to win the game. Now for the forwards, in the number 8, we have a returning face, and that's Josh Papali'i. Josh first played for the Queensland Maroons in 2013 and has since played 26 games for the state, up until 2022. He was viewed as Queensland's most intimidating enforcer. He would announce his retirement from representative footy in 2023, but is making a return to the main stage. He also just recently became the most capped Canberra Raider of all time. A truly impressive season for the big front rower. As for the number 9 spot, as the hooker, Queensland pick Harry Grant. Harry has been the regular hooker for the Queensland side since debuting for the state in 2020. The Melbourne player has impressive speed off the mark and game vision, allowing him to open up vulnerable New South Wales defence. Next, playing in the number 10, Queensland pick Big Tino. Big Tino is another Queensland enforcer, debuting for the state in 2020, and has played a total of 12 games since then. The Titans' big money player helped set the tone for the Queensland side. When starting on the field, he'll be up for the contest and aggressive with his running and defence against the Blues. Now for the number 11, we have Kurt Capewell. Kurt made his debut for the Queensland Maroons in 2020 and has played several games with the state. He wasn't picked for the first game of the series, but made a return in Game 2 and was my pick for Queensland's best player at the game. The second rower proved he was up for the contest in Game 2 and will continue to bring that Queensland passion over into Game 3. As for the number 12, Queensland have Reuben Cotter. Reuben debuted for Queensland in 2022 and has played 7 games for the state. He has the ability to play as hooker alongside with Harry Green and has previously played this position for Queensland. He embodies the Queensland spirit. And is a workhorse and will continue to show up for his side. Next, to round out the starting side, Queensland pick Trent Loiero. Trent debuted for the Queensland side this year and played off the bench in his first game, then moved to the number 13 lock spot for the second game. A smart change by Billy and is set to play here again for the deciding game of the series. Now we move on to the interchanges. Starting with the number 14, and it's Kurt Mann. Mann made his debut for Queensland in the second game of this year's series at the age of 32 and has played over 200 NRL games, playing for the Storm, Dragons, Knights and Bulldogs since debuting in 2014. Now for the second interchange in the number 15 is Jeremiah Nano. Nano made his debut for Queensland in 2022 and has played 8 games for the state since then. The Cowboys' second rower has proven to be a valuable asset for the Queensland side and certainly will have a good stint for the Maroons off the bench. Next up, in the number 16, Queensland pick Lindsay Collins. The Roosters prop forward has been a staple choice for Queensland since debuting in 2020. He started off the bench in the second game of the series, so he can make an impact when entering the field. And that he did. He's starting on the bench again to provide the same purpose, of entering the field and making an immediate impact. Now rounding out the interchange bench, in the number 17, Queensland pick Patrick Carrigan. Pat debuted for the state in 2022 and is generally the starting lock, but similar to Lindsay, he started on the bench to make a noticeable impact when entering the game. He's a leader for the forward pack and can move the ball like most standard locks nowadays. He's certainly up for the contest. Now, moving to the 18th man, Queensland pick Reece Walsh. Walsh made his debut for the state in 2023. He's the flashy young gun that would have likely been picked for the first 2 games of the series if he wasn't ruled out due to injury. Since his return from injury to the Broncos, the club has really sprung to life and has started gaining momentum. Him being the 18th man, if he enters the game, will likely cause a reshuffle on the Queensland side to fit him into that fullback role. Now for the extended bench. At 19, we have Josh Kerr. Josh has played over 100 NRL games and is yet to make his debut for the Queensland side. The forward will help with the side's preparation and will be ready in case if he's needed. And for our final spot, the number 20, Queensland pick Jermaine Hopgood. Jermaine debuted for the state in the first game of the 2024 series and hasn't managed to find his way back into the side since then. The lock will prove another great asset for Queensland's preparation and rounds out the extended squad for the state. That's the Queensland Maroons team list for the third game of the State of Origin series. What are your thoughts on the team list? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.